Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to all of you for today's webinar. I am Atika Ibrahim, Director General of Ministry of Arts, Culture and Heritage. Now I'm the Acting Civil Head of National Library. Today's webinar is focused on IFLA Library Map of the World. We have with us Miss Christine, works as a member engagement officer at the International Federation of Library Association and Institutions IFLA, who will discuss the importance point with us. My sincere thanks to Christine for holding such a session. Before we begin, I would like to give you a few housekeeping announcements. You can also see and hear instructor, but we will not be allowing voice or video functions to the participants. However, we encourage you to pose your questions and comments during the question and answer section, which is at the end of the session. But you can be posting the questions during the session. Agenda for today's webinar is introduction will be given by myself, information about IFLA World Map Survey, which will be conducting by Miss Christine from IFLA. After that, our director, Miss Zulhana, will be giving the introduction for the forms. Yeah, I will hand over the floor for Miss Christine.
Thank you so much, Miss Atika, for introducing myself. So I also prepared a presentation, which I will try to share. Just give me a second. It should be this window. I have somehow need to go to full slide. Can you confirm that you see my screen? Yes, okay, thank you. So yes, my name is Christina. I work at the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, and that is where I take care of the website called Library Map of the World, which many of you might know. And thank you so much for inviting me to have this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the map. And what I'm planning to do in my presentation is that first I will explain how the library map of the world works, what type of contents there are, and what are contributors. And then I will talk briefly about each part of the map, which will be about data, country profiles, and SDG stories. And we'll end my presentation with just giving you some information about resources that are already there for advocacy. So let me then start. Those of you who haven't looked at it yet, the library map of the world is available at the website address librarymap.ifla.org. And after the event, you can explore yourself also more. But we have three different types of content on the library map. The first one is library statistics. The second are the country profiles, which are a source of information about the broader library environment. And last but not least are the SDG stories, which are stories about library programs from all over the world, showing how libraries are contributing to sustainable development goals. And I will talk a little bit more about each one of them. So today, the library map of the world started as a project almost 6 years ago in 2017. That's where we started because many IFLA itself and many associations and national libraries, when they do advocacy work, they realize that we don't have one database where we could have library statistics, and we all started from there. And now, 6 years later, we have library statistics on the map from 140 countries and territories, which is open licensed and can be downloaded from there. We have 57 stories, which you can also explore, seeing how libraries across the world implement different library projects contributing to sustainable development. And so far, we have 30 countries which prepared content for their full country profile. And I invite you to, yeah, then just go online and explore all of it. But let me tell you how it all works. Of course, IFLA, its headquarters is located in the Netherlands, and I'm connecting with you today from The Hague, where it is based. And of course, IFLA cannot itself have all this information for the map. That's why we work with what we call main contributors in each of the countries and territories from around the world, which are working together with us to provide these contents for the library map. And these are organizations which are committed to contribute either library statistics or the full country profile. And they are different types of organizations, national library associations, national libraries, or other institutions. And the role that these main contributors then took over is that they have a responsibility to collaborate locally in the country with different partners, different other libraries during the data gathering or preparing the content for the full country profile. And these organizations then are our key contacts for when it comes to the content submission and curation before it can be published on the library map. And currently we have over 190 established main contributors all over the world. So if you look at different types of organizations, the majority of these are the national library associations and national libraries, who are the main contributors for the library map. And in Maldives, our main contributor is the National Library of Maldives. And we are very happy to have this collaboration already for years and working together in seeing how we can enrich contents that we have on the map from Maldives. And we are very thankful for having this collaboration. We have other types of contributors because when it comes to data and country profiles, we work only with main contributors who are coordinating, but there is other way of how libraries can engage in the map directly, and this is through SDG Stories. And for SDG Stories, each individual library or each organization that has a project relevant to sustainable development can work directly with the Library Map of the World team. And currently we have around 50 such contributors from over 30 countries of the world, which already engaged in working for the SDG Stories. So you can find them all listed on the library map of the world. There is a separate section called contributors, where you can make a search by country or just click on the map in certain areas and find who are the contributors. So if you will search for Maldives, you'll see that the National Library of Maldives is listed on the Library Map of the World website as our main contributor. So that was a short overview of how we work. And now let me talk a little bit about the library statistics, because that's also a topic of today's meeting. So when it comes to library data for library map of the world, we collect uh, country level aggregated library statistics provided by the main contributors on a number of what we think are the basic performance metrics, and these include the number of libraries in the country, the number of libraries who provide internet access to users, number of staff working in those libraries, and number of volunteers. As well as number of registered users and physical visits. And last but not least, the numbers of physical and electronic loans, which are disaggregated in more metrics, such as loans of physical items or loans of e-books, electronic downloads from library resources, and things like that. And then is important to know that we do collect and these statistics across all library types, which are aggregated into 6 types on the map, and these will be separately statistics for the National Library, academic libraries, separately for public libraries, community libraries, school libraries, and then all other types of libraries are all aggregated together in other libraries, which might include some special libraries, some other libraries in the country that are not included in the above uh, types. And it is important to know that once we put the country on the map, on the library map, then we look for updates every year because we look for annual statistics covering the 1 year. And then if there are newer statistics available, we reach out to our main contributors twice a year in spring and in autumn to see if there are any newer statistics available or to check if the existing statistics that we have on the map are still up to date. And we have been working together with the National Library of Maldives to see how we can update the data that we currently have. And here I want to just mention that it's very important to be aware that the library map of the world cannot exist if data collection is not made in every single library. So it all really starts in each of your libraries where you would collect data and monitor data throughout the year, and then it also needs to be aggregated to the national level, which then can be put on the library map. And it really is data collection in partnership, ongoing collaboration to make sure that what we have on the map that is at all times up to date and available for users. So, and where you can find the statistics on the library map is on the homepage. When you will enter the librarymap.ifla.org, you will land on the page where you can find these statistics by country. You can see the regional aggregated data in worldwide totals, and you can download the full data set in CSV form and explore, do your own data analysis, or just look how uh, what are the statistics in other countries to compare and just explore a little bit more about the statistics. So the data was from where we started the map, but then down the road we added full country profiles. And the full country profiles come together from the contents provided by our main contributors and some contents that are already on the library map, such as data or some contents that we import from other data sources. And just to give you an idea, just I'll quickly explain what's there. So when you will open any country's country profile, you will land in the overview, which is a narrative about the library system, some facts and important matters regarding some certain library types. There are some information included about how libraries are funded and governed in the country, and then what are some of the development priorities and recent achievements in the library field. Another thing that some countries do make are what we call library location resources, and these might be some maps, such as Google Maps or street maps, where library locations are included, and then we can include these type of links in the country profile as well. Uh, you'll see also an aggregated view of performance metrics and something that we call contextual indicators. And this data is imported from sources such as the World Bank statistics, where you can have a general idea about the population, geography, the information, infrastructure, some employment, education indicators, and that gives a bigger context on the library's work in the country. And then aside of this main page, there are sub pages where you can find information about organizations in the country with links to their websites. And these include the associations, if they exist in the country, the national libraries, policy-making institutions such as ministries and different departments that are responsible for work of libraries, as well as other library support organizations, if there are NGOs, for example, that fund libraries, or library consortia, that this information can be found in the tab of organizations. A useful resource is also the policy documents and legislation, if there are library laws in the country, or the legal deposit laws, copyright laws. So these are described, and we include links to full texts, even if they are not in English. And last but not least is information about education and events, describing professional requirements for librarians, if they exist, the institutions providing education for librarians, and as well as links to some professional publications and events that are taking place annually or on a repetitive base. So these are the country profiles, and you can just explore to see how it is done for other countries. The Netherlands is, for example, one that has one, and you can, yeah, I think it's a useful resource. For example, if you go to some country to visit a conference or something, that you can go to the library map and explore a little bit more about the context in the library field ahead of time. So, and then the last piece are the SDG stories. And as I said, this is the way how each library can engage with the library map directly through submitting information about activities, projects, or programs and their impact on people's lives and communities that contribute to achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And for SDG stories, we do have requirements, and these requirements are then described in our storytelling manual, as well as a shorter version of a storytelling flowchart. Which, yeah, I invite, if you are interested to explore more in this area, that you look at that and to see if there is some way you might be interested to put some information about projects in Maldives on the map. To submit information, there is an online form separately that you can use to just give us any information, and then we will work on a story for you. So that's about SDG stories. And if you go on the map, you'll find them all in a separate tab called SDG stories. As I said, we currently have 57 stories from different countries, and they are also relevant to different SDGs. One story can be relevant to multiple SDGs. That's why the numbers are as on the screen. So the majority of them are relevant to quality education, or the SDG number 4, describing different projects where libraries provide capacity building activities and trainings for library users, but also other SDGs are no less important, and there are some with smaller number of stories, but currently we do have stories for all 17 SDGs. And I think it's also an interesting resource for us as librarians to look into different programs that are implemented in different countries, just to have some inspiration of what can be done in addition to what we already are doing. So, and after that, I just want to mention that there is an about page on the map that contains different definitions that we use for the map, explaining all of the library metrics for statistics, definitions of all the library types, as well as all items on the country profiles, just to make sure that when we do work together for the map, that we are all on the same page. There are instructions and explainers also for contributors, including resources for SDG storytelling and links to those manuals and flowcharts that I just mentioned. So I just encourage you to look into this as also as a resource to understand more about about the map. And in the end, as I said, I want to mention some of the ways how the map resources can be used in advocacy. And I should have mentioned in the beginning that we are not creating this map for us librarians, though this is a very useful resource for inspiration, as I said, or for our library management or other issues. But the main target group for the map are our stakeholders. And IFLA is using this resource in many ways itself. For example, one of the big advocacy areas is for IFLA to demonstrate the role of libraries and the contribution in sustainable development. Whenever IFLA's staff is going to attend events in the United Nations, for example, we would take examples of SDG stories, or we would use the library statistics that we have on the map. And that's why it is important that we keep this resource up to date at all times. But this is also something that you might find useful in your work, and we encourage you to just take a look on the data and use it in different presentations and messaging if you need, or use stories to motivate our stakeholders, or to inspire library management to do some program, for example. And countries that have full country profiles, they use this as a resource to highlight priorities, some issues that might need attention, or to demonstrate achievements. And besides the map itself, I want to mention some other resources, and there are links included in the slides that will be shared with you. In 2020, which sounds like a while ago, but it's still relevant, we did created a resource which was called Library Stat of the Week, or Library Statistic of the Week, when our advocacy and policy team took the library map of the world data, analyzed it together with other data sources to come up with an argument showing the value and the role of libraries every week. And every week we posted on social media a statement such as, for example, where there is greater number of librarians per library are associated with more equal societies or anything else. And that came together with a blog post explaining this data and making the data set also available. So that's something that might be useful to still go back and look at it. There are more than 50 different articles explaining different types of libraries, not only public libraries, but also school libraries or special libraries or academic libraries, and to see if there is something useful for your own advocacy work. And in relation to SDG Stories, there is another source that not many know, that we not only have stories on the map, but we have a separate YouTube playlist with very short, up to 1 minute long videos featuring those stories and demonstrating the impact that those library programs had in those countries. And these are really nice videos that sometimes can be used in different presentations. And if that's relevant, again, I invite you to just go online and see if something can be useful for your work as well. Yeah, and just a country profile, just an example, as I said, to look at it, and maybe it's something that you can all discuss together to see if it would be good to have to work together to create one also for Maldives. That's a very short overview, and here just for future, you can also ask any questions now at the end, as Ms. Atika mentioned, but you can reach out to us by email, librarymap@ifla.org. Just to, if you have any further questions or you are interested in engaging in SDG stories, so you can get in touch with me through this email address, and I look forward, to working with you. So that was my short presentation. I'll stop sharing the screen now and give the floor back to Ms. Satika.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah. The next on the agenda, Miss Zulhana will give the introduction of the forms.
Salam everyone.
Order of call. Double kudam.
Let's get started with the form. So, National Library has been collecting statistical data every year. So we've been sending, if we're sending this form this year, we are requesting data collected from 2022. I'll go step by step from one section to another. Section 1 will include general information about the library, like the name, all, contact number, email, and the type of library. And section 2 will include whether you have collected any data in the library. If you haven't collected any data and you select no, this form will end here. No, this form will end here. if you collected collected data, and when you select yes, and then you proceed to section 3. Section 3 is about the branch libraries, mobile libraries, and service points information. Number of main libraries, branch libraries, external service points. Central libraries, branch libraries, and mobile libraries and external service points located in different geographical location managed by one administrative unit are all each individual service points and shall be counted as separate libraries. So everyone, each and every service point, every branch will fill up the form as a separate library. And once you fill these main library numbers, branches, and external service points, mobile libraries, and question number 11 is total number of service points. And you write the total here and proceed to the next section. Section 4 is about the statistic you collect from the library, like the number of service points providing internet access. Library service points provides internet access in case if it provide internet access from workstations. The number of workstations, you write the total number here. Number of full-time staffs, number of volunteers, count the total number of volunteers at the end of the year and you write the total number of the volunteers, number of registered users, number of visitors, and number of loans of items in non-electronic form, uh, electronic form and non-electronic form, and number of loans of ebooks, number of loans of audiobooks. If you have a collection of audiobooks, databases, digital documents, during the year, you count the number of downloads and you write it here. Number of downloads from library electronic collections. Mm, and section number 5 includes data sources from where you collected that data or information. For example, if you're collecting this data statistic from accession register or a library management system, and also if there is more clarification from where the data, where you collected the data, and you explain here and submit. And that's it. Now, if you have any questions, the floor is open. Anybody?
Is there any question?
Okay, there's a question. Christine, it seems there's a question.
Yes, that's a very good question, and I can say that the question is in school academic year is 2022 to 2023. So within that duration, we can take data. I think for school libraries is you need to decide, because I can tell you that in other countries, because now Zulhana said that we are looking for data for 2022, right? In other countries, for 2022, school libraries take the academic year of 21 to 2022. So 2022 to 2023, would be data for 2023. Does that make sense?
Any other question? If there's any other question, you can ask or you can email to our email address. We will write in the chat log. Uh, Thank you, Ms. Zohana and Ms. Christine, for the valuable insight, and many thanks for the participants for your support. Without your interactions, this would not have been a success. Have a good day. Christy, do you have anything to add?
No, once again, thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope some of it was useful. And if there are any follow-up questions coming in, I will be happy also to assist. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you are doing to make it possible that the library map has more recent statistics. And thanks to everybody who is making effort to collect these statistics throughout the year.
Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you, Kristen.